consistency don't mean 5 times a week.
Mic check, mic check. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing this week? What's up, LJ? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to cover a couple of things on the agenda today, and let me pull this up so everyone can see it. All right, so I'm going to cover the AMD swing trade that I'm in currently. I'm going to talk about my Tesla swing trade last week and the results of it. I'm also going to talk about risk management, how to set up your Thinkorswim or Webull or whatever your brokerage account is. I'm going to show you how to add the specific columns in there if you don't know how to do that already. Um, and then I'm going to talk about risk management overall in terms of, the way the stock moves on a daily basis, monthly, biannually, and so forth. And I'm going to talk about risk management as it relates to your overall brokerage account using my brokerage account as an example. Okay. And then I'm going to go over scheduled news. That's scheduled red and orange folder news that could potentially negatively or positively impact the market coming into today's session. And I'll take a look at Tesla specific news as well as AMD specific news since I'm currently in a position for AMD. All right. So looking at day trade today, Tesla potentially, and if Tesla doesn't present any setups, then I'll refer to my second and third options, which is AMD and Nvidia. So yeah, let's talk about it. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning. I hope everyone's had a good weekend and ready to get started. Does If you want to follow along, I'm in tradingview.com, tradingview.com. And the brokerage account that I'm using today is Thinkorswim. But if you need help navigating your brokerage account, if you're using a brokerage account that's not Thinkorswim, just let me know and I can pause and help navigate you to the right place. So you know exactly what uh, to do and get your account set up properly. All right. So first thing I want to do. Oh, I forgot to mention. I also want to talk about tariffs because that did have impact, a negative impact on AMD last week. So I'm definitely going to talk about that as well. All right, what's up, everyone? Appreciate everyone who's on the live today. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Let me pull up my journal too here. All right, cool. By the way, I pull up Truth Social to keep abreast on what the president might tweet because you know, as we all know, he could drop a tweet and it could impact the market. All right, either negatively or positively. Just depends on what he says. So let me take a quick peek. Make sure I don't see anything. I am going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots, and also, while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than accurate and sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster and leaves no doubt. Um, okay. All right. Anyway, so let's see. Anything else? That was an hour ago. Do the great American flags I what? Do the great American flags I put up in the front of both entrances of the White House look fantastic or what? Deep state reckoning, the big week, da da da, far left hysterics. President Trump has achieved peace between India, Pakistan, Israel, and Iran with the ceasefire, Serbia, and Kosovo. Trump's intervention deterred escalation. Okay, da da da. Do the great. Da. He already said that 1 year ago. Dead country. The fake news will say that it's a big loss for President Trump to host so many great European leaders at our beautiful White House. Actually, it's a great honor for America. Big day. We're still waiting for this deal between the U.S. and China. That's going to really be, a big deal. So it's still waiting for that. Um, let's take a look at scheduled news. I didn't see any. Let me do a quick refresh. Let's see. For today, Monday, the 18th. So no scheduled news, no scheduled red or orange folder news that could negatively or positively impact the market coming into today. So that's cool. We're in the clear. For today, let's take a look at what AMD and Tesla is doing so far in the pre-market. Let me switch to, let's take a look at AMD first. All right, so I'm on the 15-minute time frame. Puck says, what app do you use for news? I'm in tradingview.com, and you can, if you're in tradingview.com, there's a right panel on the screen, and you can click on the link in the right panel. It'll navigate you to this particular screen. And the third tab here is the news tab, and you can take a look at news specific to your stock of interest. The other sources that I use is Forex Factory for economic news that can have an immediate impact on stocks, right? Or the overall market. So forexfactory.com. And then, like I said, I'll pull up Truth Social because the president can tweet something and move the markets as well. So no worries. You're welcome. All right. So let's take a look at AMD. All right. So like I said, I'm going to talk about the swing trade that I'm in for AMD. And if I pull up, do I have pull this up? Hold on, pull this up. All right, so hopefully you all can see this clearly on TikTok. Let me zoom in so y'all can see this. All right, so I entered this contract. I think it was like 8 days ago or something like that. Um, no, I think it was 10 days ago. It was like 10 days ago or something like that. I think it was. I'd have to go into history and double check, but the point is that I entered. I had 2 weeks for this position. Okay, I bought 10 contracts. The cost was a little under $2,000. Oops, y'all can't see that. A little under $2,000, and bought 10 contracts. Right, I have 4 days left, as you can see here. 4 days left. So this is the final week that I have for AMD to make a move and put me in the positive. So I'm currently down. What did it say? I think it was 86%. Yep, 86%. All right, so I'm down 1,600. And this is why I want to talk about risk management. I want to talk about risk management because for some people, you might believe that losing 1,600 is too much money. All right, so I want to talk about risk management as it relates to any size, any position, right, and how I manage this trade, right. So let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and jump right into it because I don't want to spend too much time. Uh, I have a lot to cover, so I want to get it all taken care of so I have enough time to answer questions. All right, so look, last week, if I pull up my journal here, hopefully y'all can see this. Let me zoom in. Okay, so you can see for the month of August, I'm currently up 6.5K, 6.5K. 6.5K. Since April, if I reset this, since April, I'm up over 15,000, right? Since April. All right, I started day trading the latter part of April. So I'm up a little over 15,000. What I talked about is, first of all, if you see by the end of the year, my goal, this P&L, you should see 30 to 40,000 in this P&L, no less than 25,000. All right. So that's my goal for the rest of this year. My goal is to reach 30 to 40,000. All right. And I'm on track to do that. Okay. So if you don't see this P&L move from those who've already been watching my live for the past couple of weeks, you've already seen my P&L go from 4,000 all the way up to 15 because I'm averaging 4,000 to 5,000 a month. All right. So I expect to reach 30 to 40,000 because there's going to be some fluctuation, right? And that's why I want to talk about risk management. So I expect to have 30 to 40,000 by the end of the year. All right. So you should see this P&L say 30 to 40,000. Now, that means in my brokerage, because I have two different accounts. So now, this should be true for every other brokerage as well, but I know it's definitely true for Thinkorswim because I use Thinkorswim. So I have several accounts, and you can create multiple accounts with Thinkorswim, and it's cool to do. It's cool because you can separate, certain activity. Like I want to separate my swing trades from my day trade. So with my, let me zoom in here. So that 30. Remember, like I said, that 30 to 40,000 should take this to 100, right? Now, if you don't see that, then I'm doing something completely wrong, right? But you can see that I've already taken from that 15, all you have to do is just deduct 15 and you can see where I was. All right. So now my other account, this is my swing trade account, and I started with 1K. Well, it's like 900 or something like that. The swing trade, the first swing trade for AMD netted me, what was it, 700? It was 900, but I ended up getting out because AMD started to reverse. So I wanted to stay in longer, but I ended up getting out at like a little over $700. But the Tesla swing, the Tesla swing that I was also in lost money. So if we go to the transaction history, you can see, where is it at? Let me go to Tesla. Oh, yeah. Where is Tesla? Oh, here we go. Let me highlight this so you all can see it. This is Tesla, and I paid $315 for it. $315 for it, and I lost that trade. I lost that trade. So that's why you can see, like, I don't know if I go to, where's that AMD? AMD. All right, here we go. So this 675, this is for one AMD contract. One AMD contract, okay? This was my AMD swing. And I ended up making 1365, right? So just a little over $700, right? So it would have been more, but like I said, AMD started to reverse, so I got out. AMD started to reverse, so I got out. All right. So the reason why I want to talk about this risk management in particular, because I want everyone to understand, like, man, yeah, I'm seeing so many people like that's losing money in different communities and stuff like that, and I don't understand why. Like my friend just hit me up the other day, I think yesterday or something like that, or Friday when the market closed, and he was telling me that he had lost so much money, and I was like, bro, how how are you losing money? You know what I'm saying? Like this is, you should have been making money, like because I'm making money. We were looking at the same type of strategy or similar strategy, and he said that he was trading the same stocks that I was trading. So I'm like, I don't know how you took an L, but I'm up. So but I'm up. I was up almost 7,000 for this week, right? Just for this week. Okay, if we go to my journal, and let me explain something about my day trading journal. This is the clear distinction between what you see in my journal and my brokerage account. Because the thing that I want to highlight with my journal is what I'm risking. Okay. This is the risk amount since the latter part of April. And that's very important because I want to show you the type of positions and the position size that I'm entering for these trades so that you can make a decision based on that, right? So you can learn based on that. You may not have, maybe even $1,000 or 5,000 or 10 or 20 or whatever. It doesn't matter because that's not the key. I want you to take a look at these contracts and how much they cost, how much return ROI I made on these types of contracts, and how much, so you can understand how much you could have made. So I was buying contracts. I was buying the cheaper contracts, All right. Why? Because I didn't want to just jump into, just day trading and risking so much money. Again, the point of this topic is about risk management. This is the first topic on the agenda as it relates to the trades that I've been taking so far, year to date. This is very, very, very important. Okay. So I was talking about showing people how I was trading the cheaper, lower delta contracts, so that, and I showed you how to calculate how much you can make or lose per dollar move, right? Per dollar move, meaning that if the stock moves a dollar in your favor, this is how much money you'll make. If the stock moves a dollar against you, your position, this is how much money you will lose, right? So I wanted to make that clear to help everyone understand how you can plan before you enter a position. So I calculate this, right? It's very easy to do, and I showed how to do this. So what's up, Kim? How you doing? Kim says, "Hey, I'm tuned in but can't engage much. I'm at work. I really want to learn this badly." Yeah, Kim, and the replay will be available as well. So I have this recorded, so the replay will be available as soon as this session ends, and it'll be timestamped with the different segments, so you'll be able to navigate the replay easily. All right. So I want to talk. This is what I want to highlight today is about risk management. Now you can see, look at the contract amounts. All right, $31, $138, $185, $224, $191, $385, and I'm using different amounts so I can show you all. I've been testing these for the past 3 months, right? 3 to 4 months. All right, just so I have the evidence to show people, like, you can make $100 a day if you want to, or you can make $100 a week. It's up to you. And you can make more. It just depends on how much money you want to risk. All right, but you could definitely make a couple of dollars. You can make $10 a day, 20, 30, 50, 100. It's up to you. But I've been showing people how you can do this very easily. Very easily. All right, now let's take a look at the week. Let's take a look at my weekly on the calendar. All right, now, oops. Let me zoom in so you all can see this on TikTok. Look at my weekly for last week. All right, up 5.75%, 9 green trades, 5 red trades, over 4K 1 week. Now, why does it show 4K when I said I was up 7K? All right, are y'all catching this? What's up, MJ? You said I'm signing up with the Trader View today. Cool. That's great. Yeah, because I want you all to be able to follow along, and so if you have questions, I can help answer your questions. But why does it say 4K if I said I was up 7K for this week? All right. Well, because I actually made $7,000 this week. I actually made $7,000 this week, but I just showed you in my brokerage account. If I switch back over here to positions, I'm currently in this AMD trade that cost me 2,000, right? Basically 2,000. And I'm down 1651. I'm down 1651. So in my journal, if I go to the dashboard here, you can see that this AMD position is open. It's still open. And so what I made from it hasn't been calculated. And what I lost from it, obviously I'm down right now. It was up, but now I'm down, 1,600, almost 2,000. So it didn't calculate that in the total. What I decided to do was, since I was up $7,000 this week, or not this week, last week, I was up $7,000. I said, well, let me risk $2,000 of this 7,000. And why? Why would I do that? Because my goal for every single month, remember I talked about this, my goal for every single month is 3,000 to 4,000. 3,000 to 4,000, and I already hit 7,000 in the first 2 weeks of August. The first 2 weeks of August. So, in terms of my risk management, I want to show you this based on the amount that I made this month so far and the overall brokerage account, because you want to look at it from those two positions. How much am I risking? This $2,000, how much am I risking of my overall brokerage account, right? So I showed you the amount in the brokerage account. How much am I risking? You know, I made 7,000 this month, and I'm only risking 2K for a swing trade. That could work or not work, but I didn't risk. I'm not putting my goal at jeopardy. I made 7,000. I made 3,000 more than what my goal was this month. I'm already at my goal, my target. 3 to 4K is my target every single month. If I make more, great. Then that gives me a little bit more wiggle room to, take a swing trade. And I want to talk about why you should look into doing swing trades and not even really focus on day trading. I love day trading, but I want to show you how you can grow your money even more, exponentially, um, and not have to deal with the mental capital of day trading every day because, hey, it can be stressful for a lot of people. LJ says, great explanation of why you're risking that swing. Thanks. No worries, LJ. You know I got y'all. Like I said, man, for me, it's just about being 1,000% transparent so people really understand, what it takes to be successful as a trader or as an investor. Period. I don't even consider myself a trader. I'm just an investor, right? But yeah, should I pause right here and see if you guys have any questions? Does anyone have any questions before I proceed? I might have missed some, so if I missed any of your questions, can you go ahead and drop them in the live chat right now? I might have missed some. If you have any questions, just drop them in the live chat right now, and I'll go ahead and answer those before I proceed. We're talking about risk management. Risk management. This is very, very, very important. Like I've been saying to people, I'm new to day trading. I'm new to day trading, but I am not new to managing money. Okay. I believe that if I'm not good at anything else, I'm good at managing money. Okay. So I want to pause and just, if anyone has any questions, then I'll take a moment to answer your question. If not, I'll go ahead and proceed. I'll give it 1 more minute, 60 seconds, because it might take time to type in the questions. But yeah, so risk management is very, very key. So I made my goal and I made more than my actual goal, right? I'm well beyond my target. And so I risked a little bit of money because that 2,000 can easily grow to $4,000 or $6,000. 4 or 6,000 or more. It just depends on what AMD does. Now, I want you all to think about this. I just told you that I'm seeing so many people in even Scarface's mentorship, right? In his community, uh, so many people talking about how much money they're losing. And I'm like, how are you losing money when your mentor is making money? That really puzzles me. Like, how are you losing money when your mentor is making money? MJ says, what should be the first thing I do getting started today in day trading? So the first thing, good question, great question, right? The first thing that I would recommend doing, I can't tell you what to do because I'm not a financial advisor and it's against the law to, provide financial advice without a license. But here's what I would recommend. Here's what I did. The first thing I would do is understand my risk tolerance, right? How much money is comfortable for you to risk where you won't even bat an eye, right? How much money can you risk in the marketplace where you feel little to no emotional connection? All right, so identify that amount. Then set up a brokerage account. You can use Thinkorswim, Webull, Robinhood, IBKR. IBKR, please, I just want to note for everyone who may not be familiar or know this, IBKR, I'm told by Scarface and J Dub, is that they have the cheaper fees. If you've been watching my live, I've been showing you how much I pay in fees for Thinkorswim. I don't feel like it's that bad, but I'm told IBKR is cheap, is even cheaper. All right. So you have to get a brokerage account because that's where you will execute the actual trades. All right. That's where you get in and get out. TradingView, you create your TradingView account, and this is where you can keep track of what stocks are doing or what the market is doing. So that's separate. Now your brokerage account will also include a chart, and you can chart there as well. You can watch what the stocks are doing, but TradingView is a little bit more visually appealing. Okay, so that's why many traders use it. Secondly, find a mentor. Find a mentor. Now, I'm happy to share with you all my mentors' information. Um, no problem, right? No gatekeeping whatsoever. I don't charge for anything. I don't charge for nothing. All right, I don't charge. All right. Now, my mentor does charge. He does have a fee to watch him trade live and or join his community. But I can tell you, it's worth it. I paid $3,500. Everything that I learned from him, I'm sharing for free, and you can see my results. I joined his mentorship the latter part of April, and I'm showing you all my results. Okay, so this is no cap. I know many people go out and they're looking at, trying to find different courses, and so many of these people are out here capping all day, every day. They not even trading for real. They act like they getting money, showing you fake P&Ls and everything like that, and they're not really getting nothing. Right. So I know there's so many scams out here, but I can tell you, I paid 3,500 to join Scarface's mentorship. And man, this young man is good. He's really, really good. He knows what he's doing, and he's verified. Okay. What's up, Mason? You said they have Top Step. What is Top Step? I haven't I heard that name before, but I don't know what that is. I have one with Webull. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Webull is good. Mason says, why can't 9:30 come already? you you ready to go? I love it. Let's see. Yeah, so MJ, find a mentor. Now, if you want to, start with my mentor, I can help you with that because I can show you, where all this public information is. Plus, I show, I grant free access to watch him trade the break and retest strategy every single Monday. So when the market opens today, we're going to watch him trade. So you'll get that opportunity to watch him utilize the break and retest strategy. That's the strategy that I've been using. It's very simple and easy to use. And my mentor uses simple language to explain these concepts. So I love it. And they do a weekly recap. Listen, everyone, please listen to this. They do a weekly recap every single week where at Saturday, they answer questions for an hour and a half. And there's so many new people there asking all sorts of questions. And guess what? Guess where you can find that replay? Let me pull it up. Guess where you can find the replay for those weekly recaps? I have a Traders Lab replay folder, and I post those results every single week. Every single week. Okay. And they're titled and labeled. So you'll find exactly. So there's a distinction between the Q&A, weekly Q&A trading recap. You can go, once you go in, you'll see what topics have been covered. Let me move my laptop out the way. Sorry. Can you all see this on TikTok? Hopefully you can see this clearly on TikTok. So you can just click, you can navigate easily to find what you're looking for. Look at they thoroughly go over this information. Risk management advice, P&L, understanding win rates, identifying A+ setups. Now, J-Dub, he made 45,000 this month so far. Obviously, Scarface made a ton more, but these young men, they know what they're doing, okay, and they're showing how they're getting to where the success that they've been achieving so far. Let's see. Top Step is a futures prop firm. Oh, okay. Appreciate you, LJ. Yeah, so this is stock options. I'm sorry for anyone who's new to this live. I trade stock options. I do not trade futures. Okay. I trade stock options. However, Scarface, my mentor, he does have a futures expert. So if you have questions or you want to see what information, if you want me to preview you to what information they're sharing, I can do that to help you make a more informed decision as to whether or not you want to join their mentorship, that mentorship, because you can join for just $200 a month. Listen, if you follow and learn what they're saying and take notes, I don't see why you couldn't make $200 a month or more to cover that fee. So listen, I don't get paid to promote my mentor. I'm just telling y'all what, you know, these guys are really good, man. That's all I can say. They're really good. But they're providing so many resources, Q&A, and if you have questions, if I can't answer your question based on what I've learned from them so far, again, I can put it in the live session to have them answer it, or I can put it in the community where I'm, within the mentorship program and have them answer it that way. Or at the end of the week, I can get the question answered that way as well. So there's multiple opportunities to get your questions answered. All right. So all you have to do is DM me your questions and I can help you out. Let's see. Make money. What's up, Make Money? You said you have any leaps? So that's what I've just begun focusing on, swing trading. Okay. So for those of you who are completely new to trading, leaps, swing trades, these are longer term positions. I don't refer to them using those terms. I just say long term positions. All right. And long term positions could be whatever you want that to be. It could be 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. All right. So I went over this last week, but Make Money. I was talking about my AMD swing trade that I bought 2 weeks ago, and it expires this week. So I've just begun, taking longer term positions this month. All right, this month. But I will say that my mentor, they did start a segment to where they have a expert swing leap trader, right? That will be answering all sorts of questions for those of us who are in his mentorship program. And I am happy to share the insights that I'm learning from them. So if you have specific questions, I'm happy to drop those questions in the community to get those answers so we can all learn together. All right. So you can learn for free through me, and that will also help you make a decision as to whether you want to join their community and get started and learn directly from the source instead of secondhand, right? MJ says, I will go with you. Thanks. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a mentor. I'm not a teacher. I'm not any of those things. I'm just simply sharing the information that I learned for free, and I'm happy to answer questions. Okay. But my mentor is who I would refer you to, to learn from the source, right? But I'm happy to share and explain, what I know. But keep in mind, my knowledge is limited in terms of, day trading. Let's see. What's up, Susanna? How are you? She said, good morning, coach. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Appreciate you, Susanna. I'm glad you're here as always. Island Child, what's up, Island Child? LJ, yes, you are. Thank you. Look, hey, what do they say? The kingdom goes forward by the people take it by. I can't remember how that scripture goes, but not trying to push faith on anybody. But anyway, it's like something about how the people are trying to take the kingdom by force or something like y'all trying to make me a coach. My point is y'all trying to make me a coach. No, I just simply share everything that I have for free, man. I just want to explain it because I feel like this is a vital skill to learn. You need to have the confidence to be able to jump in and grab $100. I know that I could grab $100 any day, easily. All right. So let me wrap up this point. So the weekly recaps are here in the replay folder. All right. All you need to do is you use the same link to access this information. All right. The same link. All right. You will only need this one single link forever. All right. So you will always have free access. I'm never going to charge. All right. All the information, recaps, everything will be in this folder. All right. That's all you'll need. LJ says, here's another one. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's a fact. That's a fact. Man, because I was ready and just happy to find, Scarface, and like that's been a game changer for me. A real game changer. And so yeah, that's why I'm still puzzled. I'm like, yo, and so what I did with my with a couple of people that I know is I said, listen, I paid 3,500. Why don't y'all check it out and see if if you can learn something? And so we were all learning that together. So I'm not really sure why, he's not proper. He's not practicing proper risk management. That's the key. Okay, he's not practicing proper risk management. So let's talk about AMD. All right, so let's do a quick recap. I talked about my Tesla swing trade. That was a loser. I separated my swing trade accounts from my day trading account, right? So you all can see the progress, because everything is transparent, right? So I want you to see what I'm doing on the swing side of things, and I want you to see what I'm doing on the day trading side of things. Okay, those two things are separate, so two separate accounts. All right, so loser for the Tesla trade, but winner for the AMD, and the AMD win made up for the Tesla loss, right? So I took them both at the same time, but AMD won 700, lost 300 with the Tesla swing. All right, so I'm still green, which is great. Now on the on the day trading side of things, I am on the day trading account. This was an actual day trade for AMD that I was expecting because I was expecting continuation. But because of what I was watching, because of my technical analysis, I wanted to give myself more time. So I bought 2 weeks. All right. I bought 2 weeks. Okay. So I'm glad I did, because that gives me one final week to hopefully for AMD to make a move and get me out of the red. But like I said, I'm not risking $2,000 of my own money. I made $7,000 this month. My goal every single month is only 3 to 4K, right? Your goal may be something different, right? And you might listen. Can I say this too? There's so many people who would take, $25,000 and put that in the market, right? And try to make, 5,000 a day or 2,000 a day or 10,000 a day or whatever. That's cool. But for me, I'm going to focus on consistency and longevity. Okay. I know how much money, I know how to make money and manage it. And managing risk is the most important part of managing your money. Okay. And I do not like to see red. Now I'm okay risking the market's money. I made 7,000. My goal was 3 to 4K. I made well over that, and I risked 2,000 of the 3 extra K that I made. And so overall, I'm not even risking point zero. I think from my brokerage account, I'm only risking 0.04%. 0.044% of my overall brokerage account, people. So just keep that in mind, okay? Just keep that in mind, okay? So my AMD, I have 4 more days left. I have 4 more days left to see if this turns around from red to green. Now let's take a look at AMD. Let's take a look at AMD and where it is currently in the pre-market. Let's see what it's doing. Let's see. What's up, LJ? LJ says, here's another one. Oh, I already read that. Sorry. All right, cool. No other questions. Okay, look. So check this out. Let's look at AMD. Let's look at AMD. What do you all see here? Look at this. Does it look like AMD is going to push higher or push lower? What do you all think? And then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. What do you all think? Does anyone have any opinions about, just based on what you see? I don't care if you're new, just what do you see? All right. Price can only go in two directions, up or down. What do you believe AMD is going to do? What does it look like AMD is positioning itself to do? To continue toward the downside or continue toward the upside? MJ says higher. Okay. Anyone else? Temple says up. LJ says up. All right, cool. So, what makes you believe, what gives you the feeling that AMD is going to go up? Anyone? You know, it's okay even if you just want to take a stab at it. I just want to see if you know what people are thinking. What do you believe? What's your signal? What's signaling you or giving you that confidence or confirmation that you believe AMD might go up? LJ says higher time frame shows it's still in an uptrend. Awesome. Nice job. I love it. I love it. LJ is watching. He's watching Scarface videos, man. I love it. I love it, man. So that's exactly when I look at the higher time frames. Let me turn off some of this stuff. I want to turn this off for a second. I'm going to turn this off. Oops. Okay, so we can just look at a clean chart. Right now, I'm on the 15-minute time frame. Temple says based on the trend up down. Yeah, exactly. Now we're in a key position. So let's talk about what happened. Let's first talk about what happened. Why did AMD fall? Well, let's take a look. There was a couple of things that happened, right? News related. So first thing is we have here, let me zoom in so y'all can see this. AMD Micro Devices saw a decline in stock price on Monday after announcing an agreement to pay the US government 15% of revenue from sales of their advanced chips to China. 15%. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now look at this. All right, this is from August 15th. This is from August 15th. Now, Trump says tariff rate on semiconductors. What is AMD? AMD is a semi. AMD is a semi. All right, so Trump says tariff rate on semiconductors could reach 300%. See, Trump can say something and cause the market to just go crazy. we know. If you didn't know this, this is. We experienced traders are all saying that they've never been in a market like this, except for when Trump was in office before. But anyway, so this is crazy. President Trump said that tariffs on certain items could climb as high as 300% in a conversation with reporters Friday. They're all coming in. Let me zoom in to where he says if they don't open here, they'll have to pay, in some cases, 200 to 300%. I haven't set some of the tariffs yet. I want y'all to hear that. He hasn't set some of the tariffs just yet. Now, what he also said is he said the rates, I'm reading here, the rates will be lower at the beginning and very high after a certain period of time. So, what does this tell me? Okay, now if he had already set the rates, then I would expect AMD might fall even more. I would expect it to fall even more. But when I saw this news, I said, oh, okay, well, let's see what buyers are feeling. How do they feel about this news? Because like by the time us common folks get this news, the market has already reacted. So that's the key. I will hopefully you all keep that in mind. All right. So when we come into the AMD chart, let me zoom out. And we take a look at what AMD is doing so far in the pre-market. This yellow shaded area, for those of you who are completely new, this is the pre-market. And the pre-market starts at 3 a.m. Central, 4 a.m. Eastern. It ends at 8:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, okay? This is the pre-market. The blue shaded area is the post-market. This is the after-hour session. That's what happened. This is the session when the market closes officially. This is the after hours session. Okay. And this activity here, this is the session. All right. This is the open session. All right. Now, what we could see Wednesday. So Tuesday, we were climbing higher, even in the pre market. And then Wednesday, we tried to climb higher. We dropped, consolidated a bit. Thursday, we tried to climb higher. We dropped, consolidated more. Friday, dropped, consolidation, even into the after hours, same as the previous days. And then now we're in today's session, right? Pre-market, and we're still falling. We're still falling. So what are we making here? If I activate my drawing tool here, look at this. Look at the trend. Now, let's take a look at this too. Where is price at currently? Currently, price is at 175.70. 175.70. All right. So let's take a look left. Let's take a look left. And let's mark out a key level here. What do we see? What do we see? Does anyone see points that stick out to them? If you're on TradingView, you can call it out in the live chat. What I see is this point here. This is Monday's highs. This is Friday's highs, the 8th of August. This is Friday, so this is the last week, right? Or the week before last, right? Friday. And then this is Thursdays. Okay. Now look at the activity on Tuesday that week, right? This is the week before last. We had a gap. We had a gap up after Monday. So look at this level. Look at this level. So if I draw out this level here, if I mark this level here, I'm just going to mark out the top. This just represents a key level, right? A key level. And we want to see what I see on this chart. When I look at it, this is very easy for me, all right? Okay, what I see when I look at this chart is here's a point of resistance. Here we tried again, but failed, rejected off of this point. We tried again, even broke above it, but still the reaction, too many sellers sitting in this area, right? Too many sellers sitting in this area, pushing the price lower, all right? So we tried again, broke above, strong momentum, buyer stepped in heavily. And we had tried this before. Look at the Friday, the first Friday of the month, first Friday of the month of August. Look at where we were. Look at where we were. So hopefully you all can see this. Can you see this? I got to remember to keep moving my phone to help you all see this on TikTok. So look at where we were on Friday, 175, basically, 175. So this is that zone. This is the area code, right? This is the area code. That's what I'm saying. We tried to stay above this. We tried, failed below it, tried again, rejected, tried again, broke above, too much weak price action, right? Pushing the stock price lower, broke again, broke above it with strong momentum, strong price action. But then after news broke, we started to fall. And so if it hadn't been for the news, it is likely that we would have continued, because this right here showed me that we were on the way, because look at the lows. If I pull this up, look at the lows on this, higher lows, and higher highs. But news caused it to drop. Now, when we home in on the pre-market, I'm going to erase this, clean up the chart. When we look at the pre-market, Look at where we're hovering around. We're hovering around this price. So we're not out of the clear. Price can reject off of this level if buyers step in. And we need, it's not going to take me or you to push this price higher. It's going to take institutions that's going to push this price higher, right? The larger organizations, the big investors, right? But I want you all to take a look at something that I saw. I was watching this in real time. Here's what I saw. If I turn on this, I want to turn on this volume indicator. I want you to see this. This volume is crazy. Look at this. Look at the, again, I'm on the 15-minute time frame. Can you all see this candle here? This is Wednesday, the 13th of August. All right, Wednesday, the 13th of August. 1.5 million. That was the volume for that candle. 1.5 million. If I go to Thursday, 812,000. 812,000. Trying to push the price higher. Okay? Trying to push the price higher. This is what I'm saying, like, when it comes to reading a chart, I'm just trying to demonstrate that it's not rocket science. I was a software engineer, and I told y'all before, I've said this plenty of times, like, yo, that's difficult. But reading a chart isn't. Okay, you can see when, even if you didn't know like about a volume indicator, right, to be able to turn it on so you can see it. You can see the tape on the candle. This shows you how many people stepped in. Like, this is why that candle is so large, right? So you can see these candles, buyers are trying to, these large institutions are trying to keep this price pushing higher. Okay, so that is a good sign. But look at what's happening. Look at what's happening so far. We're just hovering around 175, not really making too much, not too much volume that's pushing the price higher, lower, but like 9K. This one was a little bit, we had 600,000. Let's take a look at this down close. Less than 500. So the ratio to the amount of buyers that's trying to keep the price higher or push the price higher is less. All right. So that's what I'm noting. Now, we got a couple of goals. Okay. I want to make this part clear. We have a couple of goals because a few of you mentioned the higher time frame. So I marked out a couple of key levels. This is before I entered the swing trade 2 weeks ago. I have marked out these key levels. All right, one is the daily resistance. So from the daily time frame, I marked out this level. This is 181, or you can say 182. You can just round it up to a nice round number. Daily resistance. The next one above, I'm not sure if you all can see this clearly. I hope you can, because I can't zoom out anymore. So hopefully you all can see this clearly on TikTok. I apologize if you can't, but let me activate this drawing tool so to make sure you can see exactly where I'm pointing to at least. So this key level right here, this line right here, this is the 4 hour. This is a line, a key level that I marked out from the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame. Okay. This is a key pivot level. A key pivot level. What is a pivot level? Well, let me show you. Let me show you what a pivot level is. Do you see in this trend, if you look at this trend, right, you have a point where we rose higher and then we fell. This will be considered a pivot, right? We started higher and then we fell lower, right? So we pivoted from this point with no continuation, right? So then we consolidated, pushed higher, and then we fell. So you can use this as a pivot. Then we pushed higher and fell. So you can use this as a pivot. Like, where did we pivot from to change directions? Okay, so think direction. All right, we were in one direction, we were heading in one direction, and then we went the opposite direction. So that's a pivot. Okay, so now that's the 4-hour pivot. That's the 4-hour pivot. And now keep in mind, we're looking at this in retrospect, but I drew out this key level before this activity took place last week. Okay, so I was watching it very carefully, and I'm like, yo, if we don't break above this daily resistance level, which is this line here, if we don't break above that, I'm not so sure if we're going to continue, if we're going to have continuation to the upside this week. And when I say this week, I'm referring to last week. I'm thinking in real time, as if I was in real time, right? So anyway, we broke above that the 13th of August, which was Wednesday. The 13th of August, which was Wednesday. And once we did that, my confidence grew, right? That there might be more continuation. We broke above the daily resistance. And then I said, okay, well, are we going to break above the 4-hour? Well, we broke above the 4-hour. I'm on the 15-minute time frame. All of this happened within 30 minutes. This is key. This is key. Listen, you don't have to, you're not going to remember this. That's why I will have the replay. It's likely you won't remember it, but you can go back and watch it and learn at your own pace, right? So this is all within 30 minutes. We broke above the daily resistance key level and the 4-hour pivot. And all I was waiting for, this is the final key level, is that weekly resistance. 6 times we tried to break above this top key level that I have marked out previously. 6 times AMD tried to break above this key level, all right, and failed. 6 times we failed, all right? And so I was like, oh man, are we going to break above the weekly resistance? If that, oh man, this stock might take off. But news hit, caused the price to fall, right? So now we're just hovering around 175. All right, this was, you can see, all right, touch here, touch here, touch here, even a touch here in the pre-market, right? So we're just hovering around this range. So what's going to happen today? Because we're hovering around this level, we're going to have to wait and see the reaction in the open, because if I zoom in to the 1 minute, well, let's go to the 5. Let's go to the 5. Let me zoom out. Oops. Let me zoom out. Look at this. Look at this activity here. Look at this activity here. This is crazy. So we gapped up. Oh, no. Sorry. We opened up at 177.62. Buyers, hopefully y'all can see this. Buyers tried to push the price higher to 178. We opened at 177.62. Buyers pushed it as high as 178.81. Okay, $1 move. And then sellers stepped in aggressively and pushed the price lower. Now we're just consolidating in this area. This is a good sign, but we're not out of the clear. To me, if we drop, that's why I marked out this key level, because we're reaching into the pre-market high and the Tuesday's high, right? The Tuesday's pre-market high and its a session high, right? 175. Hopefully y'all can see this. 175. We're reaching into this area. Now, if I zoom out to the daily, Let me restart this chart. Look at what we see on the daily. All I'm seeing right now is consolidation. That's if you zoom out, you can see like, oh, okay, we're not really doing too much. We're just hovering around this area. Okay. So there is possibility, there's room for continuation, but we have to break the those key levels. We have to. All right. And if we don't, then the likelihood of us dropping uh, will be likely, right? If, especially if more news drops, as we get more news about Trump's pending tariffs, right? That will affect the semiconductors, because all the semiconductors are falling, right? They're all behaving the same way, all right? So now, if I zoom over to the weekly, look at the weekly. Look at the weekly. Every candle on this time frame is 7 days, right? 7 days. So look at the weekly. Nice wick on this down close candle, but we also have the same thing on the up close candle, right? So with the previous candles here, when we look at this activity, I'm just using the context. All right, let's just use the context clues. Okay, we're pushing higher, and now we're just starting to consolidate in this range, right? Buyers are trying to push higher, but they're not succeeding too much. Sellers are trying to push lower, but not succeeding too much. If we switch over to the monthly, same thing. Look at this. Look at this. This is crazy. All right, so we fell all the way down to 100, right? Past couple of months, May, June, July, August. Now we're just kind of consolidating, right? We're just hovering in this area. This candle here for August hasn't reached too much higher, hasn't even broke above the wick on July's candle. Okay, we haven't even broken that. And if you look left at the pivot, this is why I've marked out that monthly level, right? So that level is 197. So I took a look at AMD. I went to the news for AMD, and there's this channel called Discussions. There's a few resources in TradingView. You can take a look at what analysts are saying, what discussions people around the globe that's trading or watching AMD. And so the sentiment is analysts believe that the stock will push to 197 to 200. All right, that's the feeling. But again, there's no guarantee. I just wanted to show quickly. I just wanted to discuss what we're seeing in the higher time frames, and then to drill down further into the lower time frames, from the monthly to the weekly to the daily to the 4 hour to the 15 minutes, so we can see what's the potential of this swing trade. Yes, the swing trade could work out eventually. It may not work out this week. There's no guarantee that it'll work out this week. So I could still lose my 2K position this week. I only have 4 days. Now, if you take a look at this, and then I'll pause and take a look at the live chat, because I haven't been looking at it, but I wanted to finish this explanation first. Where is that? Where is it at? Overview. Yeah. Is this it? Yeah, here we go. Take a look at this. All right, and then I'll take a look at the live chat. All right, so look at what we see here on the AMD. This is the AMD chart in TradingView.com. I'm in the overview section. Why? The question is, why, Ace, are you thinking about trying to trade AMD long term? Well, because look at the numbers here. Look at the numbers here. Look at the numbers here. The 5-day shows that it's still up 2.42%. The 1 month shows that it's up 11.23%. The 6 month is showing that it's up 55, a little over 55%. And the year to date, 45%. 45%. So if you can get into these positions with these types of stocks, because remember, this stock could reach at some point $1,000, right? You want to build up momentum, start making money from this stock. Remember, I said my first swing trade netted me $700. So you want to keep getting into this position so you get, because listen, let me show you what I mean. If you go to AMD right now in your brokerage, let me make sure I'm in AMD. I'm going to show you this while I'm explaining so it makes more sense. All right, I'm in the brokerage. If you click on the option chain, let me zoom out so you all can see this. All right, in the option chain, you can select from whatever time frame you want. So like I just showed you a couple of numbers, right? For the 5-day, 1 month, 6 months, year to date, 1 year, 5 years, and so forth. So if you go to the option chain, right, you take a look at 30 days, 60 days, 1 year is obviously 365, but there's more. If you want to do 2 years or whatever, you can do that, right? But let's take a look at the price. Let's take a look at the price. Let's say you wanted to do a 1 year, right? So let's go to the 368, right? Let's just choose this option. And let's take a look at the prices on these contracts. Okay. Starting as high as 53.20, right? So you move the decimal over 2 places to your right, that's $5,000, $320. $5,320. All right. Let's see if we can find some cheaper contracts. $2,000, $2,000, 1,000, 1,300. Let's see. Okay. So $425. If you spend $425, if AMD moves $1, you could expect to make $12. If AMD moves in your favor $1, okay, what do I mean by that? I just want to be clear. If you take a look at AMD's current price, the current price is $177.51. If you were in this position, if you get into this position, let's say today you got into this long-term 1-year position for $425. If you bought this one contract, this is just for one contract, $425 for one contract. If AMD moves from 177.51 to 178.51, you will make $12. And I'm reading from the Delta column. All right. The Delta column is the column that you'll use to determine how much money you'll make on your positions. All right. So this number here represents the dollar amount that you will make. Okay. If it moves against you, if the stock moves against your position, that's how much you'll lose. All right. So $12. If it moves against your position, $1. Right. So from 177.51 to 176.51, you'd lose $12. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. But this is why I want to focus on longer term positions because, man, think about this. Let's use this number as an example, $425. $425. If you made in 6 months 50% of, let's just use $400 to make it right, nice and round number so we can do the math easily, right? If you made over 50% of $400, how much is that? How much is that? 50% of 400 is 200. So your money just grew the value from 400 to 600. Exactly, LJ, $200. This is, I mean, in 6 months. So basically, what are you making? What are you making? 600 divided by, 6 months divided by, or 200 divided by 6. $33 a month. $33 a month. And if anybody's thinking that's not much money, man, 55% on your money is doing the work, not you. Eventually, what's going to happen is as your money, you just made $200 in 6 months. So now instead of 425, now you can do 625. And what will begin to happen is you'll start to take advantage of what's called compounding. So just think about that. If the stock moves 100% on your 600 would net you $1,200. Okay, that would be 1,200, and you just keep doing that. You just simply rinse and repeat. So this guy, and I'm gonna wrap up my point here. And remember, the live session with my mentor is going to start in 20, no, yeah, let's say 20 minutes, 22 minutes. All right, so we got 22 minutes. Let me wrap this up and then I'll answer questions before that session starts. All right. So look, what was I about to say? Dang, I just lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh man. I forgot what I was about to say. Um, man, what was the point I was trying to make there? I forgot. I can't remember. If it comes back to me, I'll I'll talk about it. But yeah, the point is that for swing trading, your money is working for you. Okay, your money is working for you versus you having to um, you know work for it, and it's doing this overnight, like while you're sleeping. That's, to me, man, that's amazing, right? Oh, that's what I remember now. This guy here, that's what I wanted to show you all. This guy. All right, so I hope you all watch this guy. Listen, watch this man's video. All right, this is on the podcast Words of Wisdom. All right, this guy, he came out of jail. He came out of jail, sold sold a couple of items that he had stored in storage to fund his account, his brokerage account, and he started swing trading. He started day trading first, and then he saw how much he can make from swing trading and not have to spend the mental capital, because when that it requires the day trade, right? Because it can be stressful. Some people like me, I love the adrenaline rush, but it's still kind of nerve wracking, right? When you see red, it's still kind of nerve wracking. But this guy made to $30,000. This is all verified. 30,000 to 3.3 million in 16 months. And then from 3.3 million to 10 million in 5 years, just swing trading. Just swing trading. So yeah, very good video. So I highly recommend y'all, check that out. But anyway, let me stop and ask questions. Let's see. LJ says it happens when you get 46 large. Yo, I think, and you know what? And I made it worse because I was doing, the green plant, back in the day. So when I learned that, I had looked at scientific studies that shows that if you do that for a long period of time, it leaves a permanent coat on your brain that, and so that's why I stopped, because like, my memory is my asset, man, and my brain is my asset. So I had to stop. So yeah, you right though. 46 large, man. You wow. Let's see. LJ says 55% is great. Jalen, what's up? You said, can we get a house tour? Man, this is so. Let me show y'all, man. All right, it's not even really cleaned up, really. Man, I got shoes everywhere. But I listen. I try to stay neat. I try to stay neat, man. Like, I try to stay neat. I get like the top brands. top brands. Look at my brand wall right here. Now I keep the boxes because I was gonna put it in storage because I wasn't even planning on staying here. So this is just for my spot to just do content and just chill. That's my brand wall. But yeah, so like, man, I just try to, I try to stay neat, man. Yo, y'all should get this. But yeah, nothing too major. Like, nice view. The furniture, I'm a guy, so the furniture is just like, man, I pay $126 a month for the furniture, and that includes, the table, chairs, couch, coffee table, and stuff like that. And then the only thing I bought was the TV, and stuff like that. But I don't even want to show you my room because my room is my bed ain't made. But I will show you my computer setup though. So yeah, that's my screen, two screens, MacBook Pro. I leave the back seat off of my chair because I don't like the back seat, man, ergonomically for ergonomic purposes. And then nothing too major. Shoes everywhere though. Yeah, that's it. Nothing crazy. I spent like I try to tell people I spent what like man I think I spent like last time 4,000 at Temu like just buying like all kinds of like different crazy shoes and shirts and stuff like that and fashion jewelry, just crazy stuff because I like fashion. So I was planning on doing fashion content, but anyway, I'm still working on that. Let's see. Episode of Cribs. Yeah, you know, I'm like, man, ain't nothing too crazy, but I do love the view though. I do love the view. Man, I do love the view. The view is crazy. I do love the view. So anyway, the live session is about to start in a couple of minutes. So does anyone have any other questions before we get? So you're about to see my mentor trade live for those of you who might be new. Those of you who might be new. All right, so I just have to wait. So at 8:25 Central, 9:25 Eastern. So if you need to take a break, I'm going to keep this live open. So if you need to go take a break, grab some water or coffee or anything like that, feel free to do so. Feel free to do so. Oh, Yo Primo says, how do you find swing trades? That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question. Let's see. Let's see. I'll probably let's do that tomorrow. Let's do that tomorrow in the pre-market because I need to find another swing trade. Um, let's do that tomorrow in the pre-market. Wait. Am I going? Man, I was only trying to do one pre-market a week. Um, man. Yeah, I was trying to scale it down to just one pre-market, one pre-market per week because I'm like, man, I want my time. I just want to be able to do what I want to do. You know, but I do want to help out people, so I want to make sure everybody get the information they need. But I don't know. I'll think about it. But here's what I will do. I'm going to look for another swing trade, and I will post. I can post that information in the free community. So yeah, and then I can go over it next week, Monday. because I just want to do like one live session a week. And then if I decide to do any live sessions later in the week, it'll just be, random, but not obligated. Any other questions? All right, so in 3 minutes. All right, so let me talk about a couple of things for those of you who might be checking this out for the first time. All right, so when my mentor, when he drops the link, we'll join the live meeting, right? Then you might hear Jack, aka J Dub, which is is a pro trader, right? He's a pro trader in Scarface's community mentorship or program. All right, so you'll hear Jack talking first, and then you'll hear Scarface come in later, right? Now, the language you should be listening for is they'll say when they talk about entering a position, first they'll let you know which stock they're eyeing, and they'll say things like, "Hey, keep an eye out on this particular stock," and they'll note exactly what they're looking for. They'll say things like, "Hey, I'm waiting for a break above," and then they'll call out some key level, like it'll be some sort of price, like I'm waiting for a break above, 177, or whatever the price is. When they're looking to enter a position, they'll use language like, "Hey, keep an eye out on this stock I'm looking at," and they'll call out the strike price. And for those of you who are completely new, the strike price is this column here in your brokerage account, okay? So they might say, "Hey, keep an eye out on the 170 calls, and that's the signal for, hey, this is the position that they're looking to take." They won't say how many contracts they're taking, but they typically buy 50 to 100 contracts. So they do spend quite a bit of money. But that's what the language they'll use. So just keep an eye out on that, or keep your ears open for that. All right. So just wanted to make that clear, because some people were asking, "Hey, I didn't know when they got in." But they'll say, "Hey, I'm looking at," and then they'll call the strike price. They'll say 180 strike or 180 calls, or they might say 180 puts. It just depends on the direction they're looking at. All right. All right. So let's see. One more minute. Let me pull up the channel. Okay, they just dropped a link, so give me a second. Let me join.
Mic check, mic check. Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me and see my screen? What's up? Good morning,
Recording
everyone.
in progress.
All right, let me get this recorded and we'll get started here. Alrighty, so yeah, coming into today here for the overall indices, if you guys watch the pre-market, I mentioned I'm fairly neutral. We don't have any red folder news for the first 2 days until FOMC. Key level here for the SPYs could just essentially your previous day low. As you can see, we have multiple touches here around this 642.50. So it's a very key level coming into today. If we maintain above this level, you can see a little bit of a bounce back up and towards your 644 and potentially above. If we want to show some weakness, so if you get underneath their previous day lows today and hold, I would actually be interested in looking for a continuation lower towards the downside, primarily on the QQQ, just because the Qs is a little bit weaker than the SPY in itself. So for the Qs, the key levels that I have marked out is going to be this 577. Potential pop and fade is in play down and towards your previous day lows and below. If we get back above, then I'm going to be fairly neutral on the overall QQQ, and then I'm going to be leaning a little bit more bullish here on the SPY. So fairly neutral coming into today. We're going to keep an eye on the reaction that we have off 577 along with this 642.50. As for some of my top watches coming into today, I don't have too much. I still like NVIDIA here on the higher time frames. It just went to the low of the range last week. And now what I like to see is it really bounce off the low of the range and potentially gravitate back up and towards the high of the range. So we'll keep an eye out on NVIDIA. Definitely a little bit stronger than most of these names here coming into this morning. As for a few other tickers here, AMD, the key level is going to be this 174.70s, which is essentially your full gap fill in the day that we broke out from, which is from last Tuesday. I still like Apple as well. Higher time frame looks really good. Nice push towards the upside. We're now basing above this retest level, which is your 230.70. I like to see it maintain this for continuation higher. As for a few other names that I do like, Google, potentially if we can reclaim, I still like this one for all-time highs push. A little bit of a slower mover, but this one still has room up and towards your previous day highs and that all-time highs. And then I do like UNH, something that we don't normally play, but this one had news last week. We're now showing a little bit of strength here. What I would like to see is the base above your previous day highs. If you can get that previous day high retest off that 309, I do like this one for a push up and towards that pre-market high and above. So I'll keep an eye out on UNH. And then for some other names, Tesla, what I like to see is a reaction that we have off your previous day lows and this 331. If we can reclaim this with a lot of strength, we can be looking for potential longs. If we reject off this level or get underneath your previous day lows, that'd be more interested in shorts here on Tesla. So 331's key. And then for Palantir, this one showing a little bit of weakness. Potential pop and fade off your 176 is in play here for Palantir for the downside. So coming into today, those are the primary names that I'll be looking for. As I mentioned, we're going to come into the markets with no bias, right? The SPY and Qs basically at your previous day low. So we'll just wait to see the reaction and then we'll just react to the market off the key levels. Plus, if any of these names have intraday strength or weakness, then we'll be looking at that as well. All right, the market is about to open here in a minute. We'll also keep an eye. I do have alerts set on UNH. As I mentioned, not a name that we normally play, but I do like the higher timeframes plus the news that we had last week. So we'll see if there's continuation on that.
Yo, can you hear me?
No, what's up?
What's up? Yeah, coming into today, for me, my main watches are going to be Q, SPY, and SPY. Really want to see what QQ and SPY do overall today. We're opening up basically in the middle of the range. So very curious on which way those two names want to move overall. Some of the names that do look good. So Apple is breaking above the pre-market high or is right at the pre-market high. So if Apple can break above pre-market high, show strength within the first 5 minutes, that's something that we could be having on our watch. Another name is obviously NVIDIA. This one, I still have my swing position open. This one does look good for a potential move up. And along with that, Tesla. Tesla right into the open, we can see right here, right already is opening up very strong with the first strong candle. What I'm going to wait for specifically for most of these names is the first 5 minutes. So within the first 5 minutes, I want to see relative strength on a stock form. And then based off of that, we can look to take a trade. But some of my top watches are going to be NVIDIA, Tesla, and Apple. And then SPY and QQQ, primarily, I want to see them also move to the upside as we are opening up in the middle of the range. And if we can see that, then within the first 5 minutes, we'll take a trade. If we have to wait after the first 5 minutes, that's fine as well. We just have to look for a potential pullback. As we can see right now, though, the first 1 minute candle, Tesla showing strength so far, NVIDIA, QQ, AMD, all of these names are pushing up very nicely. So we'll kind of see how the market reacts overall.
Yeah, so far the QQQ is trying to reclaim, the SPY is trying to hold your previous day lows. A little bit of reaction, but so far, a little bit of relative strength on a couple of these names. So we'll keep an eye out on Tesla, NVIDIA now, potentially if we can get above its previous day highs. UNH actually had an immediate retest That would have been fairly aggressive, but right off that 310 previous day highs as well.
So really quickly, for those of you on TikTok Live, at the bottom right corner here, this is Tesla. Above Tesla is NVIDIA. To your left is QQQ. And below QQQ, they have United Health Group.
As for Tesla as well, the key level that we have is going to be this 331. So we like to see it maintain above this 331 if we want to see continuation on this name.
So a little bit of a pullback on QQQ. QQ, a little bit of a pullback, but you can see buyers still trying to hold this one up. You can see so far, NVIDIA still pushing up, Tesla still pushing up nicely as well. So we'll keep an eye out on that. NVIDIA now, the next level I have is the previous day high. Previous day high on NVIDIA, 181.90s. We want NVIDIA to break back above that. AMD, a little bit of a pullback, 178.06, wasn't able to hold above. SPY, a little bit of a pullback, with same with QQQ, of course. Apple rejecting off of 232.68. That's a key level we have, previous day pivot point. Tesla just showing that strength, like I said. Next level I have on Tesla is 334.36. And then NVIDIA, like I said, previous day high. So Tesla and NVIDIA so far are going to be the main watches because they're showing the most strength compared to the overall market. Here's NVIDIA trying to break that previous day high.
Yeah, so right off the bat, NVIDIA is showing a lot of strength now above your previous day highs. So we like to see it maintain above that. This one does have room towards your 184 if we can hold above your previous day highs now. All right, so with the Qs pushing up here as well, what I like to see now is the retest of your previous day highs on NVIDIA. You could be looking at the 182.50 calls, or you could be looking at the 185s on NVIDIA.
Yeah, let's keep an eye out on NVIDIA for a pullback into the previous day high. That's something that we can be potentially looking for, is the previous day high pullback on NVIDIA. I do like this. If you go to the higher timeframes on NVIDIA, this one does look good if we can break back above, like I said, that 183.94 level, which is a little bit far away right now. However, that's the key level that we do need to break. If it can break above that, this one should show some strong momentum to the upside. But let's see the previous day high, 181.90 retest. SPY and QQQ both a high of day. Apple showing a little bit of weakness. Tesla actually pulling back into 331.68. For Tesla, this is a retest level that you'd like to see Tesla hold, 331.68. But primarily for me on Tesla, what I'd like to see now is a break above the 5-minute high and a retest of the 5-minute high. For NVIDIA, 181.90s is going to be my retest level. That's going to be the previous day high, like I said. This one, we also have that swing position, right? For anyone that joined that swing position on Thursday last week. So swing position's looking good. This one, you can see some buyers stepping up, obviously. But now I just like to see the previous day high hold for a retest intraday day trade. Q's, the retest is just this down close candle, by the way. One candle rule on QQQ.
All right, let's see if we can get that retest here on NVIDIA down in towards your previous day highs. If it does show some strength, Maybe we'd have to wait for the 5-minute, but I personally like to see the retest of your previous day highs here. All right, let's wait for a strong reaction here. Keep an eye on the 182.50s.
Yep, let's see some strong price action right at this key level, previous day high. We want to see buyers stepping in on NVIDIA right off the previous day high here for a move back up into high of day and obviously continuation after that. For the contracts that we can be looking for here, 182.50s, the 182.50 calls is what we can be looking at for NVIDIA. Tesla also coming back into that key area, trying to hold here as well. This is exactly where you'd like to see Tesla hold. QQQ trying to hold the one candle rule. NVIDIA a little bit, we still have a little bit of a room into that previous day high. 181.90s is actually the key level. So let's see if NVIDIA can actually come back down there. QQ and SPY both rejecting the previous day close so far. Apple a little bit weaker than the rest of the market. Tesla right at a key level that we're supposed to hold. You want to see Tesla show some strong price action exactly where that one's at. And then NVIDIA, you want it to come down into 181.90s for our specific trade. All right, let's see if we can get some strong price action here on NVIDIA now that it's coming down into the previous day high. We need to see buyers stepping in aggressively here.
Yeah, I just took the 182.50s right off that previous day highs level. Very tight risk.
Yep, same. I took the 182.50s right off that key level. You can see buyers stepping in nicely
perfect reaction. Look at that.
Yeah. Already back up into high of day on NVIDIA. Nice move so far. Let's see if we can get some continuation on this name. You can see right when we came into that level, buyers stepped up right away. Right into that previous day high. Let's see if we can get some strength back above high of day here on NVIDIA.
Beautiful. Yeah, look to scale up into this area. Perfect reaction.
Yeah, what a quick move.
Beautiful.
Quick move on NVIDIA. Nicely played right there. QQQ now popping as well. I just took my first scales here. Took my first scales on NVIDIA here.
Yep, basically risk-free now. Perfect.
Perfect. What a quick trade. Nice trade right there on NVIDIA. Super nice retest. Buyer stepped in right as we touched that level, basically, for the Tesla trade as well. You can see buyers slowly stepping up there as well. Now for QQ, if we can get high of day, we should see some nice continuation. Take some scales on NVIDIA, obviously, here at high of day. And then now we're just looking for continuation. As long as this one holds the previous day high, we should be looking nice for a move to the upside. Along with this, for anyone that was in Traders Lab, you guys can see exactly, remember we had that lesson last week for the speed of the candle and range of candles, guys, in Traders Lab. You guys can see exactly NVIDIA played that out today perfectly. Now, basically on NVIDIA, all we have to do is wait for the previous day high. As long as the previous day high holds, we can stay in this trade looking for continuation. We just need previous day high to hold. That 181.90 level, and we can look for continuation to the upside. A little bit of rejections on Qs here, a little bit of rejections on NVIDIA.
Yep, if any ticker is going to move higher here, now it's just going to be NVIDIA. As Tony mentioned, key level, previous day highs. You have a really solid entry, so that's going to be your key level, 181.90s.
Here's brand new high of day on NVIDIA coming in. Nice. See those buyers coming in, relative strength.
above your 5-minute high too. If the Qs just stalls here, I think NVIDIA, there's a possibility we could see your all-time highs, 184. Next level is actually, sorry, 183, and then levels above that, 184.
Yeah, nice little pop there. I took a little bit more off just on that pop, but now what we want to see is that nice continuation to the upside. Q's coming down here a little bit. You can see Q's coming down. NVIDIA still trying to break back up above this high day level. If Q shows a little bit of strength here, NVIDIA should go. We just need Q's to show a little bit more strength. Did anyone take this NVIDIA trade? Did anyone take this NVIDIA trade? I haven't seen the chat today. A little too fast. Yes, 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 yes. Nice. You can see buyers still trying to step up. We made a new high day on Qs there, or sorry, new high day on NVIDIA. The Qs is dropping, right? So Qs unfortunately is not helping NVIDIA. If we just see Qs hold low of day here, NVIDIA should go. It's just we need to see a little bit more strength on QQQ.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, Q's pulling back a little bit, so that's why I can see these upper wicks on NVIDIA. But as long as the Q's, I personally like to see it above your 577. We're currently underneath. As for the SPY, coming back down in towards your previous day lows. So SPY, you'd like to see it hold your previous day lows here.
So Q's coming down a low of day. You can see relative strength on NVIDIA, but this one, if Q's obviously shows weakness, then NVIDIA is going to show a little bit of weakness here as well. What we need to see now is Q's and SPY show a little bit of strength off this low of day level, and that should help NVIDIA move to the upside. You can also look at the 5-minute on NVIDIA as well. The 5 minutes looking decent. What we want to see, of course, is just a hold back above the previous high that we're at right now. If this one can hold that back above that previous high, this one does have room back to the upside. Like I said, Qs, we just need to see a little bit more strength on Qs and SPY. Tesla, you can see some buyers stepping in here as well on Tesla. My stop on NVIDIA is just our entry now, by the way, 181.90 is just to say our stop is just entry. So basically break even stop on NVIDIA for a move back to the upside. But we're looking for, once again, that continuation to the upside. A little bit of weakness coming in on NVIDIA here. Qs right at low of day. We want to see Qs show some buyers, and we want to see NVIDIA show some buyers off this previous day high as well.
Yeah, a little bit of divergence. You can see the SPYs trying to bounce here while the Q's right around this 5, basically this 577.
Tesla, you can see some buyers coming in. Tesla, that key level I would be looking at on Tesla would be that 332.50 level, right? That previous pivot level, basically. If it can break back above that, that one looks good for potential move up, but I would want it to break above that for high of day and continuation. SPY, now you can see some buyers stepping in on SPY. This one coming back up to high of day. QQ, a little bit of buyers stepping in. NVIDIA now slowing down a little bit here. What we'd like to see on NVIDIA is obviously buyers coming in, but that'll only happen now, in my opinion, when QQQ shows more strength and breaks back above this 577 key level.
Yeah, so SPY actually showing a little bit of strength here off that 460, sorry, that 642. You can see the cues just kind of consolidating this general area. Nvidia, as long as it maintains above its previous day highs, is looking good on at least on the 5-minute time frame.
All right, let's see what happens with Qs here. SPY, brand new high of day. A little bit of discrepancy from Qs and SPY. SPY a little bit stronger today than QQQ. SPY definitely a little bit stronger than QQQ today.
See if we can get that reclaim.
AMD, yeah, AMD not as strong. Let's see some of the other names in the market. Apple showing some strength now. Buyers stepped up on Apple. Tesla trying to break back above that pivot level. NVIDIA, like I said, we just need to break back above high of day on NVIDIA. This one, the 5-minute does look good. AMD, a little bit more consolidation overall, and then SPY and QQQ. Like I said, Qs that now needs to hit high of day. SPY already at high of day.
Yeah, if we can now get that Qs reclaim back above 577, NVIDIA, we need a strong candle close back above this 5-minute high. As for SPY now, since this one's above high of day, we just like to see it maintain above this 5-minute range. Context looks a lot better here now. See if we can get that push higher.
For NVIDIA now, also, if you look at the 5-minute, this one, you can see buyers stepping up on the 5. Next level I have is 183s, and then after that, 183.94s. Like I said, 183s and then 183.94s is going to be the next level. We just need this one to break back above that previous high, like I said, with strong price action on the 5-minute. And if it can do that, this one does have room to the upside, right? We just need to see those buyers stepping in. Q's now breaking above that 577 key level. Tesla looking good as well. That one most likely going to hit high of day. On Tesla, this one buyer stepping in. SPY, high of day. This one pushing up into high of day here now. QQ, let's see, 577 hold. NVIDIA showing a little bit of weakness on NVIDIA. We'll see how this 5-minute does want to move overall. We have one more minute, this last minute for this 5-minute candle to close. 5-minute candle, in my opinion, needs to close above this previous high. If it does, we'll see strength. If it does close below, we're most likely going to consolidate a little bit longer, but we'll see how this 5-minute candle closes.
Yeah, for the SPY now, what we like to see maintain above this 5-minute high. Qs, we like to see the hold back above this 577 for push higher. And then NVIDIA, we just like to see maintain above this previous day high pivot point.
Qs breaking back below 577s. SPY retest level is going to be 643.42s. Basically, this down close candle on SPY, one candle rule for a move back to the upside. That's going to be the retest for SPY. NVIDIA is still just in this range. We're still holding for this range move, kind of. We'll see if NVIDIA can end up breaking back above the previous highs here. SPY at this retest level. Let's see if SPY holds. If SPY fails here, most likely the overall market will see a little bit more of a downside shift because QQQ will then most likely hit low of day as Qs isn't as strong as SPY. SPY breaking below, QQ low of day. Let's see what happens with NVIDIA here, coming back into that previous high. We'll see how this previous high holds. AMD so far just consolidating. SPY now coming back down to low of day. QQQ low of day. Apple hit 232.50s. This one coming back down. Tesla wasn't able to hit high of day. And then NVIDIA right back into that previous day high. So a little bit of a choppy day so far with Qs and SPY. Like I said, this one, they're both in the middle of the range. SPY definitely a little bit stronger. However, NVIDIA coming back down. For my stop here, we'll keep an eye out on if it does break below the previous day high here. If it does, then I'll stop out of the full trade. Or the remaining of my trade still going to be a small W. But this one does have room up, but it most likely will be an 84% rule if we do break back below the previous day high here. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I end up cutting mine. I'll re-enter if there's an 84% rule set up back above your previous day highs. But now with the context Qs showing a little bit more weakness, now it's back at your previous day lows.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye out on NVIDIA here. We'll see what this candle does. If this candle holds, then I'll stay in. If it doesn't, then I'll stop out of my trade as well. And then look for an 84% rule. But this is the candle I'm looking at. If this candle does break, I'll stop out. If this candle holds, I'm still going to stay in this trade. We'll see what this candle does. Obviously, QQ breaking back below low of day and SPY coming down into low of day as well. But this is the previous day high on NVIDIA, so I want to see if buyers do step in here. If not, then I'll stop out and then look for an 84% rule as well. Let's see what happens.
So we do have some buyers stepping in. What we like to see now, the Q's level of support is going to be your previous day lows. So that's kind of their first initial sign. You can see SPY's right at low of day. Q's level of support is going to be this 575. For NVIDIA, we need that candle close back above that previous day highs.
Yeah, you'd like the impulsive candle here on NVIDIA coming in. I'd like to see buyers really step in aggressively here on NVIDIA. That would show the relative strength that the name does have. And Qs, you'd like to reclaim back above the low of day, of course. And SPY just shows strength back above high of day as well. Both a lot of these names are just in range, right? So when we're looking at range, you have to give yourself that kind of room and understand the context of the day. So for SPY, for example, the context is it needs to hold low of day. If it breaks below low of day, then obviously that's going to show weakness. For QQQ, you can see we're below low of day, but that one now the context is we need to reclaim back above low of day as an 84% rule, basically. And then NVIDIA came right back into that previous day high so far, still holding that name for myself. I'd like to see this one reclaim back above that 182.43 level. And the stop is going to be that close back below the previous day high. Overall market, though, definitely a little bit either weaker or just range action. I wouldn't say it's the strongest market for the indices, but that's because we are in range on the higher time frame, like I mentioned this morning before even coming into the day. But NVIDIA is the one with relative strength. So if something's going to go, it's going to be NVIDIA.
All right, so SPY still right at this low of day level, 642.80s. We're still trying to defend it. You can see Q's a little bit of a bounce, but now this one's about to come right back into that 1 minute range. Q's and SPY definitely look a little bit more bearish, at least within the first 30 minutes. We're still technically inside of its previous day range, more neutral, but like leaning a little bit more towards the downside, but it's basically neutral.
You can see every time NVIDIA comes back into that previous day high, buyers try to step in, showing that buyers are there and buyers do want this one to go. It's just we need to see, like Jack talked about, right? Qs and SPY a little bit more neutral. So we want to see that buyers really step in on those names there. for this trade to work out. Tesla also, same kind of scenario here. Tesla relative strength in the morning, and then you can see this one has been consolidating throughout the day. Tesla doesn't look bad for a move to the upside as well. This one, you also just wanted to hold back above that that 330, 50-ish level. You just want Tesla to hold back above that. As long as Tesla's holding above that, this one technically is still, market structure is still intact for a move to the upside. But that's the level you'd like Tesla to hold.
So we're at a very key inflection point here in the market. Q's at this 5-minute range low, and then SPY is about to come back down for your previous day lows. You can see NVIDIA is still holding up, like on the 1-minute consolidating a little bit, but the 5-minute still very much intact here.
AMD next level's low of day, SPY right at low of day, QQ retesting technically the 5-minute low. Apple consolidating. Apple also showing strength. Apple, Tesla, and NVIDIA, all three of the main watches coming into today, all still consolidating, but showing a little bit more relative strength than the indices themselves, which is good because it shows that the market does want to move up in terms of the tech market, but we just need Qs to show some more strength. But Q so far right at rejecting basically that 5-minute low.